So we're at the Haas Motorcycle Museum in Dallas, Texas, and we're with Craig Rodsmith, who's a friend of Stacy's. Stacy, I don't know your last name.
Mayfield.
Mm-hmm. And Sparky. Are you just Sparky?
Sparkle
Farts?
Sparky, name it. Sparkles. There's just
We have all kinds of names.
whatever you can think of to make fun of me. You can do something.
It's Chris Williamson.
Yeah,
We
Chris.
have fun with you. We don't make fun of you.
Well,
Proper
yeah,
Texas
it's the
name.
same thing.
Williamson.
Williams.
His mother's Australian.
Really? That's right. Close to.
That's where he
yeah.
gets his good looks from.
Yeah.
Mm.
Did
That's
you guys
what I
all
was-
go visit there when you were young?
I went there twice when I was
Yeah?
young. Yeah.
Did you like it?
Oh yeah. It was
Grandma lived out there still. She never made it over to the States, or
good. My mom's the only one that left.
really?
Yeah. Out of 11 brothers and
Wow.
sisters.
How did she end up over here?
My dad. She
Yeah.
met my dad in Greece,
Okay.
and then had me and my brother in Germany, and then back to the States.
Military life, or yeah?
Army.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, so I have German citizenship still, and Australian, and I'm tri, so American also.
Wow.
Sounds like a lot of paperwork.
If I move to either one, then I lose the other two.
Really?
Really?
I can visit, but if I decide to resident,
Keep like a EU one or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
that's what they said the last time we checked.
Huh.
Wow.
Interesting.
Is there any benefits for being tri?
Not for me, not that I know. Yeah.
Well, there's
You
always
can
an
travel
exit
there with
strategy. Yeah.
with citizenship, so I guess there's that.
So it's easy to get in. You don't have to do visas or any
Right,
of that
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, Stacy, how did you guys, you and Sparky meet? Because I feel like that's a good story, a good place to start.
Sparky was working at Strokers, and he built some bikes for Bobby. Bobby
Okay.
knew him first,
All right.
and they developed a tight relationship, and eventually we talked him into coming over here.
Nice.
So
And you met Bobby there at Strokers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked on his Harleys when he'd bring them in, his sidecars. And then he ended up wanting to do custom builds with us over there, so I was like 12 years in, I guess, at that point.
And Strokers has quite the colorful past, right?
Oh yeah.
What's a little bit of background information on Strokers for those of us?
Strokers, Rick Fairless owns it. He's been going for 30 years, I think.
Yeah.
He's one of the OG.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's in there with Perowitz and.
Yeah, they're good
you know.
friends.
Mhm.
Rick knows everybody in the industry.
Yeah, I finally got to meet him for the first time in Sturgis this year.
Oh,
We
cool.
crossed paths a bunch, but I never got to sit and chat with him.
He hasn't missed
Couple dudes.
Sturgis since I've known him. Longer than that,
Yeah,
20-some years.
Wow.
yeah.
he was
he's-
extremely helpful to us when we started collecting, because he gave us his back warehouse and let us do all of our shipments straight there.
Oh, cool.
Hmm.
And Sparky would check out all the bikes upon arrival.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it's good to know that the motorcycle culture in Dallas is willing to work with each other. That's important.
Definitely.
And how did that process get started? Like, did y'all know? Did Bobby know that he wanted to start a museum, or was it just he just started collecting and then?
We started collecting at his investment offices at the Crescent. We had 11 cycles there. And then he decided that he wanted to build a gallery, which we built the Dragon Gallery, which was 5,000 square feet and had 50 cycles.
And it was a gallery, so was it like an art gallery? Like,
It
it was a
was-
motorcycle gallery because it was a gallery in name, but it was just
Yeah,
motorcycles as art kind of thing.
It's a beautiful space. It's a mini version of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what we set out to do, and we accomplished it. And then he decided he wanted to keep going.
He
so
caught the bug.
we looked at several different spaces and settled on this one. It was a furniture warehouse, and it was a dump. And this part right here was a warehouse, and then the showroom was the other side, and we just ripped it apart and started over.
Cool.
It's a really beautiful space for
Thank
those who haven't been here. It's really well lit. The acoustics are great. The density of motorcycles and how they're arranged within the space is really great. That's the thing I noticed. It's like it's not too tight and it's not too spread out. There's always something to grab your attention, and so it's arranged in a linear, like chronological fashion, but you can still go off on, you can kind of deviate your path because just based on the things that you're interested in. So I think that's cool.
I
So
really
it's a
appreciate
great
you saying
space.
that too, because we just moved 50 cycles from Dragon over here, and the guys worked their butts off
Spacing.
spacing
Oh.
and
Tape
getting.
measures.
Bobby
Yeah,
prided himself on the fact that each bike gets its own stage, basically.
Yeah.
And now adding 50s, you obviously didn't pick up on that or feel that it was crowded, so I'm
No.
happy to hear that.
No, it's great. That must have been really difficult to do.
Yeah, we-
Emotionally and physically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A similar fashion for Mom Tried. We try to squeeze as many bikes as you can, but create
Still
an atmosphere
comfortable.
as well. Yeah. So
Yeah.
You don't want to be tripping over each other, and you can't walk past, or you got to wait in line all day. There's no fun in that. It's cool. It's,
Yeah. And it's important, I think, in curating anything to have it to be, because you as the collectors and the curators, like you have the things that you want, but then you're trying to make it really accessible to the public. And that's a whole nother thing, right? Because like your interest is basically in like the content of what the bikes that you've chosen and how they're presented, but how they're presented, like, are they on a plinth of some kind? How are they arranged? Like, how are they lit? That's all super important too. And that's a whole nother thing that, like, when you all got into it, was that something that, of course you start to understand these things once you get going, but like, what were the problems that you encountered, like, as the collection grew?
I don't know about problems. I mean, the efficiencies in the planning, and he was a planner.
Okay.
So, I mean, every single thing you see was a decision and a conversation, sometimes several conversations, and sometimes he'd come up with ideas that didn't make it, but most of the time he had ideas that were. I mean, look around. Everything was his idea, pretty much.
But how was his demeanor? I never met the man. So was he? Did he rule with a velvet hammer? Was he loud and boisterous? Was he real calm, cool, collective, like a cucumber?
Quiet,
What was he about?
understated kind of person?
You trying to make me cry?
No.
I'll let you answer that one.
Yeah,
both of
maybe that's
y'all,
maybe that's a good one for you.
He's different
Ray.
to me than to
Yeah,
Is that where
I do.
Craig comes in? Who are you?
Oh my! Known him for 20 years. What are you asking me? Yeah, he was. The first thing you would notice about it was his enthusiasm, and I thought it was interesting because I met Bobby a long time ago, and before this was open, and I think originally he just wanted to buy these historic bikes, and he got into it, but then he started learning about the people, and he became more interested in the people and the story behind the bike and everything, and that's why I think I saw a big shift towards more custom. That's what he liked, and it wasn't so much the bike as much as the person that built it and the story behind it. But he was meticulous, and he was a good word.
At everything that he did, he was
And
very
he was-
calculating.
Yeah,
And
he, as Stacey said, a lot of time you'd come up with different ideas, but he was very. Guy always knew what he was doing.
sure.
Even when it was like, oh, that was a bad idea, he knew that was a bad idea. But there wasn't very often that was a bad idea. And some cockamamie
a
ideas.
cockamamie idea.
Which was, hey, I got a cockamamie idea.
And Craig's phone would ring 4 a.m.
Yeah.
That's how the
really?
front wheel motorbike came about,
Yeah,
right?
that was
We were in
when we
Austin.
built the Killer.
It's called the Killer?
The Killer. Well, we called it the Killer. One of Bobby's favorite. He loved Jerry Lee Lewis, and so Killer. And then it was kind of the inspiration for that bike was a Killer Duran Front bike. It was a prototype built in '35. And then the war started in Germany, and then it kind of got lost. GIs found at the end of the war. It's one of those, this mythical bikes sort of thing. And there was only one ever made, but beautiful Art Deco style.
Is that what they did find it though? It's still in existence.
Yeah, apparently it ended up in, could be urban legend. It got brought back here by GI, some parts missing. Someone found it in the early 2000s somewhere in Ohio or something.
Wild.
And then some German investors bought it, and now it's back in Germany. And who knows? But
Yeah.
it was just beautiful because it's just the Art Deco style
Yeah.
to it. Regardless of the engine being in the front wheel.
The front wheel,
it just
yeah.
looks cool as hell.
Sure.
And we sort of changed the lines of it a bit. And that was the other thing with Bobby. He didn't just say, hey, here's some money, go and build this bike. It was like daily phone calls. It's like,
His fingerprints all over.
Oh, really?
Everything we did. And it was, and I enjoyed that.
I mean, that's that for. I've been in the business a little bit, and I've dealt with customers. And how was the interaction, man? Like, how did you
it
guys
was
get
awesome.
along?
It was good because I guess, me and Bobby became best friends, and it never, the way he bought the dustbin, Motor Guzzi,
Yeah.
that's when we first met. So he didn't commission me for the first bike that he got, he just bought a bike. And then we just became friends, and it was just, hey, I got an idea. And then that Call the Jures, that little board tracker thing with the BSA engine, and we got together, and I think there was a Dragon. We drew some pictures on basically a napkin. And I've still got that somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I went and built a bike, we talk about it. I'm like, oh, I can do it like this. And I remember delivering it. Bobby's like, that looks like what was on the napkin. That's kind of the point, isn't it? That's why you maybe do it. But it never felt like ever.
You weren't like, oh, fuck, I don't want to.
Every now and then, maybe.
Well, if it's
If he
4
was
o'clock
upset
in the
about
morning,
something.
yeah.
Oh yeah, he'd let me
Was
know.
he an
Well, that was
insomniac, like kind of
He
personality?
got before
Like,
every morning.
Yeah.
And I mean, all of us would wake
and
up to a
expected
slew
us
of emails.
all
Or,
to be up at 4 o'clock.
or if I was with him, I'd wake up and he'd be, 3 hours sitting in his office just.
He'd accomplish
Did-
a full day before most
Yeah.
of America has woken.
really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I call him the Jedi.
Like super
He's
efficient.
a
Yeah,
Jedi.
very
Yeah.
much. He taught us a lot about
Focused. That's cool.
that.
He did.
Nice.
Yeah.
But you guys were, you had so much to talk about other than motorcycles. I mean,
Oh,
they
we
would talk
talked, I would say 75% of our conversations weren't about motorcycles.
politics and
Politics, theology, and we just talked about all kinds of stuff. Sometimes a lot of really stupid shit.
Yeah.
It was funny. Like,
That's
we had
fun
a lot
too.
of Jokes.
Yeah.
I remember when he started getting into, you remember this, when he started with the social media stuff, and I was explaining to him, like, on Instagram, he's like, I don't know the difference between a hash brown and a hashtag. So we
Nor
started
do
our
I
first
care.
post, we started putting hashtag hash brown. So
Mm-hmm.
he's like, what do I care about that?
yeah, he was reluctant to do this space because he didn't want to put his name on the outside of a building. He loved to fly under the radar, as he always did in his previous careers. The gentleman that he, did the soft drink deal with was all over the newspapers and magazines, and Bobby decided he didn't want any part of that. So he just laid low and did his thing, whatever his passion was at the moment.
Sure.
Yeah. I
I
noticed that
Dragon
about.
was a lot like that because Dragon was, it wasn't sort of open to the public so much. It was,
Yeah.
Private.
it was basically their
We
collection
built
of
it to be open to the public, and then we just loved being there so much that we never unlocked the doors.
Right.
We'd sit there and look at motorcycles and talk and come up with ideas. And
Plot and scheme.
when people started to come in, we're like, I don't like this. Let's lock
Yeah.
the door. There's
Yeah.
too people-y around here. But then this opened, and it was a different animal. He loved to walk around and talk to the guests and
That's
How often
cool.
was he here?
every day,
Yeah. So this was his
unless we were
office.
traveling. But we were both here every day. We shared an office and sat in there and
And that was
Every
the thing,
single
you
day.
just enjoyed talking to people. Like, and he would know every story behind every bike.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody comes in and is like, oh, this is the thing. Well, let me tell you about that. And it was just, and he had a way of telling stories too.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, because he was so passionate about it.
Yeah.
And he was so eloquent. Like he was,
Yeah, a guy like that could do anything, right?
Yeah.
It's exquisite.
And he chose to focus on the motorcycle industry, which is
Mhm.
fantastic in my book. We need more folks like that.
Mm-hmm.
the thing is that Bobby and I just clicked. We just got along. And I always thought about it, like, why the fuck am I this guy's best friend? It's like, he could have any friend he wanted.
Yeah. But
I guess
we've talked in depth about that, right?
And it's like, I think we were just there was no bullshit between us.
Yeah.
You know. We had our moments,
Yeah.
butt heads, and everything be fine. And
who yelled first?
usually him.
Always
I'm calm.
him.
I'm like, whatever. He's like, no, 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 no. He'd just be yelling. I'm like,
He was never aggressive, abusive, or anything like that, though, with his words ever. He's just firm.
and a lot of it, when he'd do that, whether it was with me or anyone, it was he saw something in people that certain people was like, I know you can do better than what you're doing, and he would kind of, in a way, be disappointed.
Yeah.
and it was a way of like,
Frustrated.
right. And it's like,
Bro, wake up.
well,
what's
the
up?
Killinger and Freund, when we built that, it's like, you know, it's ridiculous. It's this 3-cylinder radial inside the front wheel. And he's like, okay, yeah, we're going to do it. We met at Congress Hotel.
In Austin, yeah.
He's got all these photos. That was the other thing when he built a bike. It's like, he's got them in all folder. And he's got photographed, like, he's got,
Labeled. Perfectly centered label.
and it's like, well, what about this? Hang on, I've got this. And he would like, he'd have his research done.
Yeah.
I'm like, Bobby, I don't, like, because he wasn't a mechanical guy, he didn't understand that. I'm like, I don't know if I'm the right guy for this. Perfect. When can we start? Like, so what I realized is, and I'm sure he did this with a lot of people, he saw more in people than they saw in themselves.
Sure.
And he brought that out.
Well, yeah, I mean, a guy like that approaching someone like you or me and you saying, I don't think I can do that, is probably a telltale sign on why he trusted you, right? Like, it's honesty right out the gate.
Well, that
But
was
if he
what he
trusted
said.
you-
He's like, you're the right man for the job.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, I'm not a cocky guy anyway. But it's like, geez,
We should talk in length how you got the crank to work in that thing.
it's confusing. I can't remember. Me and Sparky did some work on it a couple of months ago. And the battery's in behind the headlight nacelle. Sparky's like, how do you get this off? I'm like, I can't remember. Because I
It was really
I tried to make it
complicated,
so
yeah.
seamless.
I'm like, Craig, I don't think it comes apart.
And Sparky's like, and it was like, we took the fast, it was the key thing. And it's like, we took it, doesn't it? And I was so anal about it. It's like, it fits together so perfectly. It's like, even with the, it's like,
Yeah, you can't, it don't come out unless it's just perfect.
and the thing is, the reason I did it like that is because he, you know, was Bobby, he had faith in me, so I had to,
Yeah, you felt
yeah.
you needed to impress and come through.
And that was the thing, I've never done anything to really impress anyone. I try and impress myself. And I always try and do something more. And it was nice doing it because Bobby enjoyed the process, enjoyed talking about it. And it was like, as long as him and I liked it, we didn't give a shit.
Yeah, yeah.
But I always remember every bike I did, you'll remember this, especially that, I'd come down, I'd be so nervous.
After driving it down, you're saying when you,
Well, I'd
when
bring
you
it
first
down
unveil it to
yeah,
him.
Present
first
it.
unveil it and bring
Because
it to the museum.
would he see it in its finished state? Like when would
He'd see some
when would-
pictures,
Yeah,
and then I'd, get a van, truck, whatever, drive it down from Chicago.
You would send us videos.
Yeah, videos
Okay.
and stuff.
it's just
then
the
he-
in-person moment,
Right,
his
and
reaction.
that moment I did with Colliger, then with Killer, and then we did it with Mr. Fahrenheit, everything.
Craig brings in the building. The first thing he does is starts to point out all the imperfections. Should have done this brochure, Craig. And Bobby's like,
And Bobby, there's that great
Jesus
picture.
Christ, look at this thing.
And then Bobby's,
And he's
and
like,
Bobby's
well, I
just
could
like
have been.
walking around. He's going, I'm like, oh God, look at this
Mesmerized.
thing. I'm like, he's pissed.
Yeah, Bobby's
He's gonna
whole
want
thing-
his money back.
Yeah, no, God, I didn't know he'd give
And
you
then
more
it's like,
instead.
but the killer's
Back
that
to
great
Camp
picture
Tuna.
where he just kissed me. I'm sitting on the bike and he kissed me. It's
Yeah,
one of my favorite pictures.
that was my idea, by the
Oh.
way. Do you remember?
That was what?
I said kiss him, and
Oh, that's
Brent did the
right.
picture.
Yes.
That was a great shot. It's an iconic shot. I would always say, find your passion and pursue it with excellence as your standard. And so he held everybody to that bar, all of us.
Wow.
And we all learned so much from him, and still do. I can still hear.
Yep.
I know you can too. Hear things that when he would get upset, I mean, both
What'd he
heaven
say?
and hell would listen, and we'd all come out better for it.
Yeah.
It was
He was-
exciting if you were watching him, if he was talking to you about someone else he was upset with. That was exciting to watch him. Like, you're like, damn, Bobby, yeah, get him. You know?
But if he's upset with you,
If it was you, you're like
Look
that
out.
puppy with your tail.
Yeah.
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 Because you wanted to do things to make him proud. Anyway,
You always I think in any situation where you respect somebody or you're mentored by someone or you have a personal connection, that's just human nature to want to be able to,
Agreed.
right? Like, and it's cool that he was able to put that on folks and people to understand that, or he'd pick and choose the right people that would understand and get moving. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He was so,
he had a lot of respect.
in my bit, like, the story, it's like, he enjoyed this with such, like, almost childish enthusiasm. And I don't mean that in a demeaning way. I'll
Something
never
that we
forget-
lose as adults.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And he just, And I'll never forget, I built this engine, this 3-cylinder radial engine, and I've got it on my bed, and it's fired up. And I've sent him some pictures of the bike and stuff, make the seat and everything. And there's a video of the engine running. I'm like, it started, I'm like, holy shit, it runs. And as I can see in the video, I really like that seat. Like, Bobby, I just built a fucking engine. I really like that seat. And it's like, God bless you. It's like, and it was, he loved all of it, obviously. But it was just,
The little boy on the sandlot.
Yeah, Benjamin Button.
And so in curating like the rest of the stuff besides the custom bikes, but like all the museum has a tremendous collection of like pre and post-war singles European stuff, like really rare. So finding that stuff, going to look at it, figuring out if it was something that you wanted to have, and then figuring out if it was going to be restored or like in what stages, like how did that process work with him? Did he want to have something that was like perfectly finished, or would he buy something that was like buy boxes of stuff and bring it back, and then it's become your problem, or you would help out with that
mostly
stuff?
completely restored.
Yeah.
We bought them restored. There's a few in there that we didn't touch at all, just because we like to see the the wear and the tear.
Yeah.
Like
But-
the 1901 sitting there, the first one.
But I mean, interestingly enough, we started just with vintage cycles. We didn't have the idea of the custom shop. That was kind of something that came later.
Right.
We realized it happened organically, and we realized that we were more intrigued with the custom cycles and the people and commissioning builds. And so this was an afterthought. It turned out to be the heart of the museum. So, as far as the restorations, Sparky did. Well, you can speak to that. But
Yeah,
he
we
does.
talked
We
about-
make sure every part is period correct and all that sort of thing. And if it's not, then he fixes that.
There's some
What's
there's
your
some
role
things.
here? We try to figure
Chief engineer.
Do you have a title on
whatever.
business card?
I do.
What's it say?
It says what Bobby wanted it to say. It says chief engineer
All
on
right,
there.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then that means that you're fixing light bulbs to working on the most rare motorcycle.
Whatever.
Whatever. We
need.
have Brent Graves, who's not here today, but he's our facilities manager, so he
Okay.
does a lot of the building type maintenance. They're a team; they do it together.
Sure.
But Sparky's the
Those
best guy.
mannequins didn't come on the wall.
No.
Oh, God.
They came
Man,
from
it-
France. They're all
These
French
guys, that was Bobby's
mannequins.
idea. And I've since replaced the jackets with Bobby's riding jackets since he passed, but we did have just our biker boy jackets on there. But Bobby came up with this idea, and these boys were here until like 3 a.m. getting this done.
To make sure
for
that it
him.
was perfect.
So he got to see
Very
the
cool,
installation.
We were excited to.
That's one of his cockamamie ideas.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And to watch him open that door and drop his briefcase on the floor over there.
Yeah.
When he came in, it
He
was,
was-
awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
He was floored.
And so, like, from a museum perspective, I know I keep going back to this, but, like, is there, I mean, for the people, the people who are maybe not in the motorcycle world, like, is there you have to maintain documentation on the stuff, and, like, you're, sort of, there's a curatorial aspect to it, right, that you have to maintain,
Yeah.
sort of.
Are there parts that are associated with these?
Yeah,
bikes
like,
that are
does each
stored
bike have a
somewhere?
box of parts that came with it?
We
like,
have meticulous records.
Yeah.
Provenance
Some have
certificates
more
on
than
every bike.
others. It
Yeah.
just depends. But yeah, there's definitely
There's
records
manila
of
envelopes with
everything.
all
We
that
Yeah.
stuff.
have, yes,
What's a good
anything
s-
and everything on every bike. And he checked out every bike before he bought it. I mean, he knew more than
Sure.
probably anybody before he went into.
What's a good travel story on going to look at something with Bobby?
Oh. There's so many. There's so many. I mean,
you travel a lot. Like it was. A couple times
I mean,
a
probably
month, or-
Japan was interesting to go to Cherry's company.
Africa with the monkeys was pretty good.
That wasn't business. That was pleasure.
So it's still a good travel story.
Germany.
Germany was incredible. Dirk King with Kingston Customs. We have the homage, which is the big one at the end. That was Bobby and I commissioned that a month before he passed away. So that was a special bike, and it was delivered on the year anniversary of his passing.
Sure.
So that was a great trip to go and meet with them, and
Yeah.
we had a lot of good adventures.
Yeah, traveling seemed like it was a big part of, like,
A lot of the vintage came from Bonhams or from individual dealers that would reach out to us, like Yesterdays, or what's the other one? Yesterdays and the Belgian people. They would always send us things. So those didn't require as much travel, but the customs, we'd always want to go meet the builder and get to know them and talk with them. And
Sure.
Yeah. Get some backstory.
spent a lot of time in LA with Max and Shinya and Kyo.
Okay.
Those were, we would go there once a month to meet with them.
Sure.
And
You
that's-
see how things were going, and
Probably Bonneville is the best travel memory. He took his sidecar to race. It was funny. He was so serious about it. So serious.
He
But we
went
had a
about
good time.
100 on the salt on
He
that
did.
start.
with the Fat Boy?
Harley, yeah.
Yeah, with
Sidecar.
a Liberty sidecar. It's
Yeah. That's really fast.
I
he
couldn't
was-
That's a lot of motorcycle to throw around.
We went down to Ennis,
Yeah.
in like quarter-mile drag strip just south of Dallas. He was doing 100 miles an hour and stopping. Like, it's not like Bonneville.
Right.
Right. You can
Grab
close
You don't
on
get
it.
run out forever.
You have to stop, yeah.
He'd do it. He'd like, it'd be 100 degrees. He'd be light as hell. Like, oh, you gonna take a break? No. Like, you gonna, no. Like, you'd be exhausted watching him.
Or
Yeah.
he sat on a bike here one day with Sparky and Craig for what, like 2 hours, just going through all the motions
Oh,
over
yeah.
and over and
Of
over.
the
Because he wanted
bike
to
or
learn.
of-
You know, pulling the clutch shift,
Mr.
just
Fahrenheit.
everything going through.
What could
'Cause it was a-
happen?
he's in this whole different position,
Right.
laying down on this more streamlined
Yeah.
land speed sidecar and everything. Bobby, you want to take a break? I'm tired. We need to take a break. That would be too much. He was meticulous about everything. He just, like anything he did in his life, like software acquisition and that, and then he
Yeah,
became,
Geo.
one thing a lot of people don't know, he was National Geographic's aerial photographer.
Yeah.
And,
It was-
and this is days of renting a helicopter and
Right.
Shooting
There's no
on-
drone
shooting on
like-
film.
camera and
Yeah.
film, you know.
Yeah.
For drones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And digital cameras.
Digital cameras. And the thing is, the guy went into it not even like he would like, I don't know anything. I don't know where the shutter button is. It's like, I'm going to go and do this.
Yeah.
And the same, he got into motorcycles at 64.
So he went and purchased a Ural, and he taught himself. And he got this. I have the book in my office. It's Motorcycles for Dummies, and all these books. And he just read meticulous, highlighted everything, and then he took lessons, and he was hooked from that moment on. He went to Strokers a lot. That's when he met these
Yeah.
guys, and
Yeah, you start work making
he
your circle.
never wore a suit again except the day he was in divorce court. But he was in jeans and bling and biker jackets every day since.
Sure.
That's where he was most comfortable.
Cool.
That's cool. That's really cool.
So,
Now your all turned into a Harley with a sidecar, then another one, and then a third one. And
Yeah.
he just loved it. He's
this one
always riding.
I'm going to learn to ride on. Well, after I learn to ride on that one, I'm going to take the sidecar off of the Harley,
Sure.
and that one's going to be what I ride.
Cool.
Cool.
So,
And then after
Sweet.
the sidecars, it was like vintage bikes. Then that became like an obsession. And then as we got more into the meeting people, and then it just like, I think it's kind of like us. We love motorcycles, but really love motorcycle people. And it doesn't even have to. The conversations don't have to be about bikes. It's more about the people, really. And that's what keeps us glued to the world
Yeah, I
that
get
we're
overwhelmed.
in.
Right, like you go to even this place. In museums just in general, or places where there's a large amount of really fun, cool stuff that I'm interested in. I get to a point where it's like, I got.
It's too much.
I'm gonna go over here, and then it turns into personal stuff, like just chit chatting and wandering around with friends and talking. Right, and the
Yeah.
experiences are worth more than the motorcycles, but the motorcycles are what ties everybody together. It's the fly to light.
it's a continuum.
Yeah, it's like the vehicle, for want of a better word.
Yeah,
of the
there you go.
conversation.
Yeah.
That's smart, Craig.
Yeah, I can pull them out of the house. Okay.
I
Well-
think Max is what turned Bobby on to customs, though.
Really?
When he did his first.
How did he find Max? Is
He
that
found
social
Max.
media?
Well, he was in LA and he saw one of Max's bikes in a window
Mm.
and he was
Is it a
intrigued.
clothing
and
store or something?
asked,
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that was the genesis of that. And
And
then
Max
we
was
had
at the point he was about to
Bible.
give up building bike, like he was going to go back to swinging a hammer. He was a carpenter.
Because there's just no money in it.
Bobby came along, and
Yeah.
That's
that's
cool.
Max.
That's cool.
Yeah, to give a guy or many people an opportunity to do what they love.
No, he
the
did
passion.
Yeah,
the same
patron.
with me, and he was Medici, as he said.
Patron of the arts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
An engender like of the building of all this cool stuff. It's pretty neat.
The cool thing about it is because he made so much money off this.
Yeah.
That was like,
We were
Yeah.
trying to lose money, and we've done a good job.
Yeah.
As I said.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah, but to be in the position to do it is really cool.
that's the thing. It was obvious that it just came from his heart.
Yeah.
He just
So what now? What's the museum's open and functioning, and people coming in and out. Doors are open. We try to spread the word and drive folks down here to see
Definitely.
what Bobby and Stacy and all y'all built. Right?
We won't be here forever, so
Sure. So time's of the essence then.
it is. And we're finishing up some projects. We have a second documentary that just wrapped, and we have a book that's in production of the collection, which
Cool.
I think is important. Bobby
That's
and I
really
started
important.
that prior to his passing, and so I'm finishing both of those projects that he and I had already begun.
So the collection is set. Right. No more buying bikes. So this is people need to
this
come
is
in and check
it.
out.
And everything's
This is it.
documented, yeah.
All 252 of them.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, the cool thing about it now too, a good time to, is because of there were 50 bikes that were a Dragon, which in my opinion, some of those bikes, which are like some of the nicest bikes in the collection, but nobody
Yeah.
often got to see. Well, now they're all here, so
Yeah.
now it's in its entirety. It's
Okay.
like definitely the time to see it.
The majority of people coming through the museum didn't get the chance to go to Dragon and
Sure.
see the other 50, so now you get to see them all at one time.
And
What's
it's
the-
interesting because we were talking about which was your favourite bike, and I think the motorball bike. It's been
Yeah.
sitting over a Dragon.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
love
only
that
been here
thing.
for what, a month or so.
That was your favorite yesterday. Now we need to know what your favorite is
yeah,
today.
what's your favourite today?
There's a BSA single
There you go.
that's over there. I really like that thing too.
Not Hazen's piece of shit. It's so.
It's
dumb.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah, right.
It's great.
Have y'all seen some of the motorball like sport
Yeah.
stuff going on? It's pretty wild.
A little
It's
bit,
awesome.
yeah. Is that is there a resurgence of it happening, or is that's
It
it's
seems-
an
I mean,
Australian thing?
It's Europe.
Probably
and-
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like it should be Australia.
Yeah.
My favourite, I don't know, you can go and find this, you can find some of this footage, one of the stupidest things in Australia. It became a sport. With the chariot races, instead of horses, they had motorcycles.
Oh yeah.
We know how to
Whoa.
have fun.
Yeah. That's mental.
Hurt ourselves.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
dual
It's
motorcycle.
like two motorcycles side by side, and like a chariot, like a Roman chariot, with rope.
Yeah. That's some ballsy shit.
Hold my beer.
Yeah.
Like the inappropriate races.
Watch
Yes.
this, yeah,
Man,
yeah,
if we could
exactly.
get a chariot, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Be
I don't think a
hysterical.
chariot
Maybe
could
that
make
would
that.
be something for the inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Craig,
There you go,
get
Craig.
That's
after
right,
it.
it could be a side crop.
I want to see you sitting in a little baby chariot with two little 50cc two-strokers in the front of you.
Sparkle farts.
Got it.
Game on?
We have one we can use. Urban Express out there.
Look at these
50cc.
wheels turning already.
The what?
The little scooter. We can pull the motor out of that.
Yes.
It's like
Oh
our
my
mascot scooter.
When we were
now.
at Beeville, we were all chasing each other around. This, I mean,
Oh,
it was
it's like Keystone Cops.
Oh
Really?
my god! Sparky's videoing the whole thing.
what was it?
Honda Express.
10 or 10 miles an hour in the paddock, and we're out there and all the
And that and the
golf
go
carts
on.
and just
Yeah.
How fun.
Whatever you do, don't do this. We did it.
Stressing
Right.
the old folks out.
That's
Freak
good.
out the squares.
That's a great. I've got to admit, we went to Bonneville. We've been to Bonneville a couple of times, and the Texas Mile is cool because it's got the same rules as Bonneville, but they don't really enforce them.
Yeah.
It's such
Yeah.
a family feel too. Like you
It's
guys
so
talk about
cool.
it. It's
It's so Texas. It's we're gonna hopefully go. I'm gonna go back. We're
Where is it in Texas?
Beeville.
Which is West Texas?
it's outside of Austin.
Oh,
North
really?
From Austin.
Wow.
Yeah, south, about 5 hours south of here, I guess.
It's an airstrip. It's fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's getting
A lot of
down
fun.
towards the Gulf.
professional still. It's not like some backwards
it's
thing.
fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a serious thing there, but
And it's blacktop. It's runway. It's an old runway.
Okay.
And you get a mile. Like,
And they just had a big event down there.
yeah,
Mhm.
we were down
That's
there.
what we. Yeah.
Right.
That's
That's
we
where
took
this
that.
one-
Yeah,
Mhm.
we took
Okay.
the guys down there.
Do you know the guys from Lowbrow or Old Bike Barn or any of those guys there?
Not really.
I'll
Those guys
introduce
were
you.
there, I
Yeah.
think.
I'll have to make a point to put you in.
Yeah, you
touch
Yeah,
guys.
they're great people.
Right.
Y'all really like each other. A lot in common.
Well, when are you guys coming back to the museum?
Well, after this wraps, I'm kind of looking forward to walking around for a couple more hours.
Oh, good.
I've been in here for we walked around here 3, 4, 5 hours yesterday, and
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't really even seen anything yet. I mean, I've kind of put eyes on just about everything, but I want to go back.
I think you should have like mechanics carts here so that people can lay down.
We have a
smooth
wheelchair
the
in there.
aisles. But you can like move to each bike and just
We got a
kinda
roller
lay there.
cart right there. You can sit in that
Yeah.
little snap-on chair and roll around.
I found myself down on my knees a lot here.
I have some roller knee pads over there.
I know
roller
Brent always
blades.
wears the knee
Really?
pads.
No way.
I think they're over there. I don't know.
Do you guys?
I've been coming here for years, obviously. You know, I'm down here like every other week, it seems, almost. You know, a couple of weeks since it's been open. And it's like I still walk around and see things. It's like, well, I never noticed that before.
Yeah.
And it's because there's just so much to take in.
Yeah.
Now, let's face it, with all these bikes, it's like you can spend an hour looking at each bike.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, do you guys have like a recorded like docent tour of like some highlights of things? Because
Not
We have a
today.
lot of videos that Bobby did on certain bikes.
Yeah.
And then we had started a blog too, but
I think you should make Craig do it. Have him wander around and explain it. He doesn't need to know
Sparky's
anything
really
about the
good
bike.
at
I know.
It's
I
completely fucking.
I think both of you guys, the banter back and forth.
What's funny
the
is,
two
like,
of you doing it would be great.
A friend of ours, a filmmaker,
it's funny to
said,
watch them.
Hmm.
you and Sparky should have a reality TV show.
Exactly.
Yeah, the director of the documentary said that.
We interact.
I think it'd be perfect. Yeah.
I rode down to Beale with these two in a Sprinter van, and I'm in the back, and I'm watching the two of them in the front. And it's just
Plenty of entertainment.
it is full-time entertainment.
My favorite part was swerving while Craig was in the restroom.
Oh, yeah, Craig
Oh,
was
yeah.
back
Every day in the bathroom in the back.
It's windy. It's windy out here, Craig.
As soon as I go in there, I'm like, I know what's going to happen. Motherfuckers.
And we are just
It was
cracking
probably
up.
your idea.
It was, but it was funny and worth it.
Oh, great.
I have it on video.
Road trips.
We do have fun. I mean, we
Yeah.
miss Bobby, but we have fun,
That's good.
which he would want us
That's
to.
good. You would want that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the way it feels. Like we've all, we're like a family.
Hmm.
I don't even work here. I just
Yeah.
sort of hang around.
Well, and the vibe here is not it's not a super serious one, even though like curatorially everything's really well presented, but it's still playful and with a child's eye, I think, to like the wonderment of like motorcycles
Yeah.
and not just like some sort of a science thing. It's definitely
Yeah,
I
like
think
small
the
kids would
spirit.
love to admit that.
Anyone that comes in here gets something out of it, whether it's something about their past, their dad rode a bike like that, or there's so many stories
Yeah.
that come about just from coming through here.
Yeah, you don't have to love motorcycles to really enjoy being in here.
Right, yeah,
Because the vibe's like so great.
yeah.
What's
Well, that's
the-
a testament to the way it's the Bobby the Stacy
Yeah.
shape.
What's in the collection, how it's laid
The way
out.
it's curated, the
Yeah.
way it's done.
What's
Yeah.
the clientele like? What are the visitors
Yeah.
like? They're from all over? They local? Is-
All over. Locals come in here and they didn't realize it was here,
Mhm.
And
We
Yeah.
hear
also-
that every weekend. I had
Yeah.
no idea this place was here, but we were not big on advertising.
Sure.
We just wanted to share our passion and have a beautiful space, but not,
Yeah.
no billboards and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys know much? I mean, maybe through knowing me, you knew, but what is your guys' impression of this place before you came?
I knew about it because of the custom collection, because you've always been our friend and had bikes in the show, but a lot of the other builders have been not necessarily part of our world, even though we're in the sort of motorcycle show world. Like, we've never met Max, and so I always kind of followed that trajectory of like the bikes that Max built, and like in this caliber of custom stuff, and that's how I knew about the museum, but I didn't realize like the collection of the vintage stuff and all the rest of the racing stuff and the sidecars, like I had no idea. And so, but you know, also J&P Museum in Anamosa is like not that far from us, and I just visited there. I was telling, I don't know, you or you, but like just a couple years ago, and it's like it's been out, you know, it's 4 hours outside of Milwaukee, and it's a fantastic museum, and with a ton of history and a lot of really cool shit. But I just finally just visited that place too.
Yeah.
And I think that's just like how it goes. I mean, you always say you're going to do something, and but I think now that there's like some bookends. I mean, you can talk about how you knew about it too. I didn't mean to cut you off, but like I think now that there is like a bookend on the museum, I think it's really important for people to come and see it as the collection is now, because it's not going to be here forever. And I just think if you have any interest in motorcycle stuff, and especially like the world that we're all in, to the viewers of that people know about Mama Tried and Flat Out Friday, that they would just love it here.
Yeah, I agree. I think people.
And we're excited to bring some of the bikes to the show.
Yeah,
So
and that's
we
going to
should
be
take
fun.
a
That's
little
going to be
walk through
super
and
fun too.
See what you have your eye on.
Yeah.
Hard parts can be picking, deciding.
You
right?
can't take them all.
Why don't you guys just have Mama Tried here?
No.
I was saying, why don't y'all move the museum up to Milwaukee? You guys
said
could
that
just
last
come
night.
like be in Milwaukee with us, and
That would be
you know,
amazing.
yeah, we would love that.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, someone may come along and want to buy the whole thing.
Buy the
but
whole thing. That would be pretty
I-
cool if it could stay
I hate
together.
to see it dismantled.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, nothing lasts forever,
Nope.
and that's what makes it kind of special, I think, too.
Yeah.
This collection will never look like this after this.
Yeah.
If it goes at different places, and right now this is it, the way
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
together. So
Yeah,
it's pretty special.
it is
to
really
see
special.
It like this.
Yep, it's cool to have it all under one roof. It's really neat.
It's unique.
Yep.
Is there another? I mean, like, there's nothing like this.
I haven't seen it.
You know, there's museums
to a
that
lot of
have
them.
There's
small collections but there's so much other stuff going on. It's not.
There's that
And it
place.
is- I'm sorry.
No, sorry. There's that place that have you guys been to? There's a place in Austria that's like on top of a mountain or something like that.
The
Have you all been
Top
there?
Mountain,
Yeah.
Don't we have a bike from there?
Top Mountain Motorcycle Museum. I
I
don't
thought
know.
we bought one.
There was a
burned
fire
down.
there,
still-
yeah,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
they rebuilt it.
Yeah, some of them were saved, I think, that were
Yeah.
in the bottom, and then I don't know if
Is
it's
that only
reopened.
motorcycles, or is that?
I think so.
Yeah.
But no one can ever get there.
Right. Yeah.
So we're right here in the heart of Dallas. So
Yeah.
it's an easy
Yeah.
spot to get to.
Yeah, but the level of custom bikes that are here is.
No, there's
Okay,
nothing
well,
like that. This
no
is
way.
like a hand-built show every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Dallas is pretty fun.
Yeah. I'm
So you guys had fun?
Well,
I think we almost killed them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
we're not done yet.
Yeah. That was just the first night.
yeah. Scott had the French exit or Irish.
Goodbye.
Irish
Yeah.
goodbye?
Yeah.
Because he's smart.
Yeah. I was just like, this is not going anywhere good. I'm out.
I was the second one out, so.
Good job.
Yeah.
Craig's like, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Except
Craig's always the
you
last
were the
man
second
standing.
one out, but you left with all of us.
Well, I had Jamie take me home.
Yeah,
You guys took off in my car.
but we went joyriding. We didn't go to the bar.
Still.
We had to take a friend home.
Nothing good happens after midnight.
Nothing. Did we? We didn't.
Listen to
Maybe
great
push
music.
midnight.
What we listened to last night? What's
The last one
Or
was
Elizabeth Bell's
Midnight
good.
Oil.
Oh, that's right.
Love
yeah.
it.
was
I
like,
missed that.
I'm putting this one on for you, Craig.
I love
Midnight
Midnight
Oil.
Oil.
Logan
So
remembers
that's why
Queen.
I was shocked because I thought it was going to be Air Supply, you know, and it was going to be Australian band.
Oh.
Well, Bee Gees.
What, were y'all listening to Queen, to Bobby's song? Or?
We sang. We
Yeah, we did.
At,
We listened to that,
At
yeah.
that. What's it? Where,
Oh,
where
that's
were we at?
right.
Yeah.
What was
What's the name of the bar?
Oh, it's all
Cock and
coming
Bull?
back
Oh
to
my
me
God.
now. Just bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the good nights.
Yeah.
was
You
so
know, we had a
fun.
good time. A lot
It
of
was a
bonding.
great night.
A lot of hugs last night.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you were going to kill her.
What?
He's like, he's like, you need a hug. I'm a good hugger. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good.
I was
She's
sad,
tiny,
and you made it better.
I'm a good hugger. come here. It's like she disappeared. It's like,
It kept me from crying.
Aw.
maybe what I thought was so nice was like how we all, obviously you and I, we've known each other for a while and those things. How we all just immediately
Get on.
just
Yeah.
it just clicked.
Yeah.
Just met.
Yeah, it wasn't difficult.
Yeah.
I know.
And it's gets back to the like-mindedness of what you've talked about with Mama Tried, with it's about the people more than bike, and that it's exactly what Bobby was and Stacy. It's the right reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can debate all day what's the best of the best of the best, or what bike is worthy of being put on a spotlight or put on a pedestal, but at the end of the day,
Beauty's
it's
in the
about
eye
the
of
people.
beholder. It's like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's like it's interesting people to be around and that like to enjoy the good time and still have that like just engender that feeling of just being around the bikes and just everybody sharing that, because we all have that in common.
There is a sadness. It's like because of COVID, we were all going to go to Mama Tried with Bobby, obviously, a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because of COVID,
Yeah.
it didn't happen.
No, but it was on his radar.
All right,
I'm
good.
sad
Yeah.
you guys didn't get to meet him.
I know,
But
we
I
are
hope you
too.
can feel his essence
Oh,
around
yeah.
here. And
He's everywhere.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's hard to be in here and not.
Definitely.
he
That's
did
rad.
want to come to Milwaukee.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
That's right.
Well, we'll have some of the bikes up there, so that's really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, now we gotta pick out which ones.
I know.
Okay.
Mine are off limits, okay.
No.
Well, you're going to take one that's not from the museum.
I'll take, not one from here.
What are you building?
I've got that 916 Ducati with a really ridiculously large.
That's the dual
Turbo.
Magneto
Yeah, it's got two
bike.
magnetos on one side and a
Yes.
massive Magnacharger, supercharger.
You made
on the
a-
other side.
You made a Ducati a BMW, right? Like
It's
it's wide now.
it's kind of
like a
wide. It's a
battleship.
bit of a beast. It's like a stupid bike.
He's going to race it.
All right.
And then I want to land speed race it.
Back to Beeville we go.
Cool.
It's healing.
Yeah, I think we got the bug.
It's healing. I mean, the Beeville was the most
is.
healing moment that I've had since Bobby passed
You
away.
guys at some point should try and come down to the Texas.
I know.
It's
Yeah,
just-
I want to.
It's a blast.
That sounds really cool.
It's cars, bikes, everything. Like there's Hayabusas out
Yeah.
there. running
Do they do?
200.
Is it a weekly thing, a monthly thing,
Annual.
annual?
like in
Couple-
March?
two-
Well, it's in October.
Biannual.
Yeah, March
I think
and
it's
They haven't
Biannual.
released the March dates
October.
yet, but
Gotcha. Cool months.
yeah.
so
And it's
nice.
good. It's just laid back. It's
Yeah.
It's cool.
That sounds neat.
And Beeville.
A lot of magical things
It's like
happen.
Yeah.
there's nowhere to we found a great place to go out and eat. What was that? Like the
Burger
bar
place.
that we found, because
Yeah,
it's a
that's
small
pretty neat.
town,
Yeah.
and there's not much to do, and we found a place. The bar we went to,
It's right by the hotel. I
right
can't
next to
think
the
of the
hotel.
name.
We walk through
Pretty
the
neat.
cesspool at the back of the
Hamburger
hotel.
place.
That's awesome.
I mean, when it was cool, it was great.
Local
You
place
sit
or
outside, just local.
yeah.
Awesome.
Struggling to remember.
That's as important as the
You don't even remember
thing
being
itself
there.
sometimes.
Yes, I
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
The end of the day hangouts.
Can we edit that out, please? Yes, you remember. I know you remember.
Was she dancing on the bar or something?
Probably.
Right.
I was.
With them boots.
He was.
Yeah.
I'm a great dancer. What can I say? I got
It's
a
like your
look at this
parents.
figure. Had 4 kids. I still got this figure.
All right. Well, I don't know. I'm sure we'll probably keep talking, but I'm just gonna do a little wrap up. Just want to say thanks for having us down to Dallas and to hang out with y'all and taking some time to talk to us and
Yeah, the hospitality's been
yeah,
wonderful.
show us this place. It's really, really amazing, and really encourage everyone that sees this or listens to it to come down and see this place, because it's really remarkable. And I know it takes extra effort to travel and see stuff like this, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth it. So
Thank you.
thank you for having us and for doing it and for sharing Bobby's life with us. So really appreciate that.
Anything?
Yeah, cheers. Cheers.
To Bobby.
Yeah, to Bobby.
Bobby.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right.